Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, we are not on F1 2021 today. We're on something very different. This is Assetto Corsa, the first time I've ever recorded a video on this game, and honestly, I've got the bug at the moment to really try different games that people have been telling me to play for many years now. And after playing Kartcraft and iRacing recently, that just opened a whole new door into just the immersion and just the feeling of the feedback you get from the car. Because I've said this many times before and previously and recently, the F1 2021 games, or the F1 games, have been a love of mine for many years, and I will definitely play them probably more so than the other games. But you just don't get that feedback and feeling from the car. And having played some different games recently, I was itching to see what feedback I could get. And I have the direct drive podium wheel. Direct drive, that's going to give you the most feedback out of any other wheel type. Why not maximize it? And I've decided to play Assetto Corsa today. We are using the F1 2021 car, and you can see straight away, you can see how much my wheel is moving. This is a full sim, and I was blown away by this straight away in terms of how it felt. I just felt so connected to the car, so immersed. The sense of speed was just absolutely insane, and this is my first experience playing this game. I think I've played it before very briefly in some slower cars, but this is the first time I've been properly set up with my wheel, and I'm just going to take you along for the ride. So again, if you enjoy these type of videos, want me to play different games, please like the video. Really helps me out, really lets me know that you enjoy these kind of videos. So thank you very much for the support on the channel so far, and hopefully you enjoy this. So we are in the F1 2021 car, the Red Bull livery, and we are at Zandvoort, which looks very different to what it is like on F1 2021. So I'm not a master of knowing every single detail of every track. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I presume these tracks are laser scanned, so the bumps, the width of the track should be a lot more accurate on this. But you'll see throughout this video that I just have a smile on my face for most of it, and that's because I'm actually feel like I'm driving a car for the first time in many years. And I was always thinking that I'd be quite content with an arcade kind of game, but after having this kind of feedback from the car, it just completely transforms your experience. And now I feel like I just want as much feedback as possible, because I said in my previous video with the Kartcraft, and a lot of people say this as well, I think in recent F1 games, especially for a long time, there's no real sense of connection with the car. The feedback is very minimal, feels very disconnected. And games such as this, where it's a true sim, I really hope can get much more popular in terms of actually being used as the main official Formula 1 game. And we never know in the future. So companies such as this and games such as this, I really hope will continue to grow. And you can see absolutely punished if you go on the curb, and I was just feeling every single bump through the wheel. Or maybe I was feeling a little bit too much. You can see the wheel just shaking all the time. Really, it doesn't do it justice by watching it on the video. You have to give it a try for yourself. You can see on the left hand side, you can see my throttle and braking application here, and I think we're not really running a setup at this point. We've got about 50 litres of fuel on board, and it says it looks like I'm on the soft tyre, but I actually am on the medium tyres, and the ERS isn't really turned up. So just try and take it nice and easy coming to this. Please let me go again which kind of game we want me to play next, I'm thinking Assetto Corsa Competizione. So this is just the normal Assetto Corsa. And then also maybe Gran Turismo Sport. And Gran Turismo 7 actually comes out very, very shortly, I've been told. So many more games to try. And I would love to really get into the competitive world on many, many of these games. So it's going to be a new experience and challenge for me. But honestly, I've been putting it off for so long to try other games because I just felt very, very comfortable playing F1. But after these experiences recently, I'm itching to try new things, and I never thought having this kind of immersion, and this is not even true immersion yet. Imagine if you had VR on top of this as well. It feels like you're actually driving a real F1 car, which I can't say I've really had that feeling for a long time, if not ever. So was really, really enjoying playing this. It's just a whole different level of challenge, and yeah, very, very satisfying to play. So coming into here, we were slowly just improving lap after lap. You can see on the top right hand side of our delta there, and coming through to this last corner, it's so narrow. It makes you feel so much more narrow than it is. On the F1 game, it's like a huge bank corner, which I think it's a lot more accurate on the F1 game actually in terms of the graphics, but in terms of how the track is, in terms of the bumps and the width, it's probably a little bit more accurate on this. And you can see we are just improving lap after lap. Got our ghost car coming through into here, no room for error, go through into these corners, and yeah, it's not too difficult to control, but the traction isn't actually that bad. And the F1 car is just generating enough heat to get that downforce coming into here. It's actually quite nerve-wracking playing games like this, because as I said, the sense of speed is so much more. I can't imagine what it's like actually being in the cockpit. That would be a pretty scary experience. So to have your foot fully down for many of these corners, you really have to salute the drivers who are doing this in real life. But you can see coming into the final sector, heavy braking zone, and it's actually telling me I'm locking up on the front right here. So a little bit more of the trail braking is needed. Now coming into this final corner, managing to do that just a little bit better now. As you can see, we're gaining time on the Delta. And I think we're just going to do one more lap before we go back into the pit. So that's a 1:16.8. So still being a bit cautious braking coming through into here, but you could just see the amount of bumps there is. It's a very, very bumpy track. I don't know if this is actually accurate in real life, and yeah, even making that mistake, you can see we're just having the time of our lives play this game. So now we are going out the pits, and this time we actually have turned up the ERS, so it's going into not the highest mode, but the battery setting is on high. So more of the ERS is going to be used, and I've actually put a lot less fuel in the car. So we're going to see how much more we can improve. And unlike F1 2021, you have to actually warm up your tyres quite a lot on the outlap. Otherwise, you'll have a zero grip when you come to start the lap. So yeah, so far it's just a completely different experience, to be honest. It's unlike anything I've ever played before, and I think even Assetto Corsa Competizione is even more realistic than this, but I think that's more suited for GT cars, which we will be trying extremely soon. So please, again, let me know which car and track combination you would like me to try on that game. So we're warming up our tyres now, and let's see how much faster we can actually go, and straight away we can tell there is a lot more grip available underneath us. So going down the straight, heading into this turn one, and let's see what we can do going up into 8th gear, braking just about after 50 meters, carrying a lot of speed into here, so much more grip in here. And you can see the Delta, we're about a 10th up so far. Now going to this far right hander, doing that fairly well. Going quite tight, trying to do the camber off the corner, and in the end we don't get a great exit, so still around about a tenth or so up. But you can see with the battery on high, we are gaining speed in a straight line. Going to this fast right hander, what can we do here? And doing this actually pretty nice. You can see the time that we are gaining, going through into here again, doing this actually pretty nice. It's a half a second up now, going to here, spot the apex very nicely, trying to use all of the track, going into this one as well. And there is a huge learning curve on this game, and I think with a proper setup, be very interested to see how fast we could go. Going into here, not locking up this time, staying nice and tight going into here, and we're a second up on our time so far. I can see the ghost car in the rearview mirror doing this fairly nicely, but no, I think in time, after months of playing this, I think we can go multiple seconds faster than this. And coming across the line, it's a 15.5. So we're going to go for another lap once again. Felt like we could get a better exit, which we do. You can see we get a much better exit. Go green in the Delta, doing this fairly nicely. Now coming through here, we have the lockup indicator coming on, trying to get a really good launch coming off this corner. You can see we're over 2 tenths up now. Now going into this really fast section, and again, it's very scary when you kind of feel this immersed in the game here, putting on the full, but one mistake, and that's how costly it could be. But you can see, still got a smile on our face despite that very scary incident, and yeah, we are absolutely okay. So now we've decided to go in the Mercedes at Silverstone, so we'll go to the same thing and let's see what we can do around here. So putting on the almost medium tires, but you can see if you don't have the temperature, it's not gonna work. And I think you could just tell just by the webcam, the facial reaction, that we are just having a much better time. This is the first time I've actually felt connected to a car, and it really does transform the experience. Honestly, really does. So I'm really looking forward to playing Assetto Corsa Competizione, if I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm completely butchering that, but coming through into here, even touching the curbs, you just get so much feedback through the wheel, and this is where the benefit of the direct drive wheel is, and that's why I've said to many people, and if you're playing F1 only, I don't think it's worth getting a direct drive wheel, especially not the podium wheel where you're paying like £1,000 or something like that. If you're playing other sim games, then absolutely consider getting a direct drive wheel, because it does completely transform the experience. It's coming through Maggots and Beckett's, a very different sensation to what we have on the Formula 1 games, and just getting used to the car still. So we're probably going to be doing 2 to 3 laps, just getting used to it, and then we'll do the same again where we lower the fuel, but chronic understeer here, because we do have quite a lot of fuel on board at this stage. But it's really the slow speed corners that I'm struggling with. You can see the throttle application not going on full throttle straight away. So let's see if we go full throttle through turn 1 now, and yes we do, just about go full throttle, but then going a little bit wide, so punishing you again. Going through into here, got a bit of grass on our tyres, and that is the punishment. You can see again, very surreal feeling. I don't know if this is probably iRacing has maybe a little bit of a better feedback, but people saying iRacing that the brakes are not particularly great. I definitely prefer the brakes on Assetto Corsa for the F1 car compared to the iRacing, but the iRacing feedback is extremely good, so please let me know which one you prefer. But I think it would be amazing in the future if maybe F1 esports and games like that actually went to more of a sim based game. I understand why they don't at the moment, because it is the official F1 game, but maybe have a bit of competition for Codemasters, because I think a lot of people would love to see a bit more of a realistic competition maybe. But let me know again what you think of that. But coming through into here, you can can see we're about half a second up so far, and now about 7 tenths up. Let's see what we can do going to this last corner. Do we look up? Doing a little bit of trail braking, as you can see, and needed to go on that throttle much earlier. So just needed to build that confidence a bit more. Coming across on, what's this going to be? It's going to be a 34.0. Do we do this flat out now? Do we stay on the track? Yes, we do. So you can see how much time we're making up. Let's see how much time we can make up going through into turn 3. Hitting the apex this time very nicely. Second gear, just gliding the car going through into here. And now we're half a second up. So I think the level of skill in this game, there's going to be many more variables to it. And it's probably going to be a lot harder to master, unlike the Codemaster games. Coming through into here, we're about 8 tenths up, 9 tenths up now. Don't know if this game likes the short shifting or not, like you could do on Codemasters. Doesn't seem to enjoy as much. Let's see if we can go flat out. Been hit on the curb once again. Can we go flat out? We'll try and go flat out. Little lift, so don't quite have the courage just at the moment. But yeah, wow. I could do 1,000 laps on this and not get bored of it. I think it's, yeah. Don't know if it's because it's new or because of how the feedback is, but I really encourage you to play this game if you haven't already, and just try different games as well. Don't just stick to one, because I think sometimes actually going to a different game and coming back to a game like you mainly focus on is actually a good thing. Kind of resets the driving style and the driving inputs once again. To come across time, we're going a second faster, so a 33.0 now, which was very good. So now I think we're going to do the same thing again as we did at Zandvoort. We're going to go back into the pits, change the tyres, or maybe not change the tyres, but just lower the fuel and increase the ERS deployment. So now it's set to hot lap, whereas before it was set to low. So let's see what we can do here. So tyres are a bit cold at start of lap, so a bit hesitant. Coming through turn 1, going absolutely flat out. I think our fastest time was a 33.0 before. Do we do this nicely? Yes, we do. Try to carry a lot of speed into turn 4, hitting, avoiding that sausage curb, and get a really nice exit. And again, I think compared to the top people, we're probably many seconds off, but we're not using a setup at this stage. So going through into it, and the sector 1, managing to hit that apex quite nicely. Now going through into here, try and keep it as nice and tight as possible. Going up through into the 3rd gear, and that was a pretty nice exit. You can see we're leaving our previous best for dust, mainly because of the battery mode that we are now deploying. Do we go flat out now? The answer is yes. That was absolutely awesome to go flat out for that. You can feel every single bump and dent and camber into the road. Oh, absolutely insane speed. You can see the G-force on the driver's helmet really violently being worked here, and it's almost an all-purple mini sectors so far. Coming towards the end of Ham Straight, going into so. How much speed do we carry into here? Over 200 kilometers per hour. Absolutely insane amount of speed. Coming through into here. This is the part I struggle with a little bit. Coming to this right, how early do we go on the throttle? Can go a bit earlier than that, but going across the line a little bit further down the road. What is this lap time going to be? It's a 31.3, so a 1.7 second improvement. So that is it for me today. That is my first experience at Assetto Corsa. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Please like it if you did. Thank you so much for support on the channel. We will be trying many more different games soon, because I really do have that bug to try something different at the moment. And to be quite honest, F1 after 6 months does get a bit repetitive, and I think now it would just be great to explore many different games and maybe even start to compete in them competitively as well. So I hope you had a great day. Thank you so much for support on the channel, and I'll be catching you very soon.